first things first, I want to talk about the district grades. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to get caught up with so that everybody can know where everybody's district is at. It's still a wide open race to see who's going to get that extra credit, but I want everybody to be able to see. So I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly. All right, and we're going to go to this tab right here. Okay, so this is everybody's district. All right, and so if you look over here, the total sum is basically the leaderboard. All right, which means that for first period, the leaders at the moment are District Mary Rose and District Imani. So if you're in those districts, you have a slight lead over Daniela's district, Angel's district, and Natalie's district. For second period, looks like the leader is Elia's district with a slight lead over Flavio's district and Kimberly's district. And the other districts have some work to do, but it's still early. We still have lots of weeks left. In third period, leading us out are District Diego with a slim lead over Melissa's group, and also Priscilla, Brian, and Leslie's group. So it's still a wide open race. So make sure that you and your group members are turning in the benchmark assignments. We just had one that was due Wednesday night, and about 75% of you turned that one in. And so there's still some room to improve, but overall not too bad. So remember, the district who has the highest percentage of on-time homework turn-in gets 5% extra credit on the presentation, which we're still doing, by the way. Okay, all right. So for today's class, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to, all right, so I'm going to, what's up, Jay? What are you holding your breath for, bro? There we go. We are going to be watching like a 5-minute video clip on evaluating sources. So as we are watching this video, you need to have open the document that's called the Evaluating Sources Note Catcher. And I just posted that on Google Classroom. And so if you can go to Google Classroom right now and open up that Evaluating Sources Note Catcher, that is what you need at this moment. And I will post a link to it. Actually, I'm not going to post a link to it because if you go to Google Classroom, it makes you your own copy. So make sure that you just go to the assignment on Google Classroom right now and you open up that document so that you can have your own copy. So I'm going to share my screen with everybody so that you can all watch this video. So make sure that your sound is turned up so that you can hear it. And I'll check in to make sure that you can hear. But basically, you're going to be filling out, if you have the Evaluating Sources Note Catcher open, I'm going to start sharing my screen with you so that you can see what it looks like.
You said it's on Google Classroom?
Yeah, it's the assignment that I just posted on Google Classroom. Okay, good. Okay, so everybody can see my screen right now?
Oh, I'm busy looking at Chase.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the Evaluating Sources Note Catcher right here. And we're going to answer, as you're watching the video, you should be answering these first 4 questions right here. Okay, so take a look at those, what those are, and then as you watch the video, you're going to be filling these out on your own. So let me go to the video. Okay, good. All right, can everybody see this? Give me like a thumbs up in the comments. Okay, good. All right, so hopefully you can all hear it. It's only 5 minutes long, so just fill out the worksheet as you're watching the video.
Using evidence in your research is a lot like building a house. You want to make it solid with high-quality materials. You can use flimsy evidence and your research assignment will not stand up to scrutiny or a wolf, much like a house of sticks. But use a variety of high-quality sources and your work will be rock solid. In this video, you'll learn about questions to ask that will help you select the best sources for your particular needs. Let's look at these two sources about buying local. The first is an article from a scholarly journal about agribusiness written by two economics experts. The second is a blog post by a woman about her experience trying to eat entirely local for a month. It doesn't look like it's been reviewed by anyone else, and the woman who wrote it doesn't appear to have relevant education. Many people, when asked, would probably say that the first source was better. But what does that really mean? It's written by someone with more education, but if you're trying to explain the challenges people face in eating local, the second one might actually be a more useful source. Sources aren't good or bad in and of themselves. They're good or bad depending on how well they fit your needs. Your needs are determined by the points you're trying to make, questions you're trying to answer, and your assignment requirements. Therefore, something that might be really good for one purpose might not be for another. There are, however, questions that you should ask about any source. Based on the answers to these questions and your specific information needs, you should be able to determine which sources are best for your research. The first question, who wrote this and are they trustworthy, is about the expertise of the author. Expertise means many things: education, professional experience, life experiences, significant research. When you're looking at a source, find out who wrote it. What about their background or knowledge makes them trustworthy? In some cases, you'll find their qualifications listed in the article itself. Here you can see that the authors are both policy experts. In others, the author's name will be linked to their biographical information. I can see here that this author is an education reporter and so has experience researching educational topics. Or there might be an About page. From her About page, I can see that this blog is written by someone who's really passionate about eating local, but has no other particular expertise. If there's no information provided about the author, you might want to do a web search for the author's name to find out who they are. If you can't find out anything about the author, look for information about the magazine, journal, or website to determine whether it's a respected source. Whether their qualifications are enough is relative to how you want to use them as a source. If you're looking for evidence based on research studies, an article by someone who has only experienced the thing you're writing about isn't ideal. However, a research study may not be the best source when it comes to providing a picture of the human dimension of the problem you're researching. Having a variety of types of sources written by authors with different types of expertise will provide you with the strongest support for your research. We want information we can trust, and a big part of that is understanding the biases of the author or of the publication they've created the work for. A bias is a prejudice in favor or against something. It's impossible to write something that is completely unbiased, since everything has a perspective, though authors try more or less to acknowledge multiple sides of an issue. You're looking at the article. Is it trying to convince you of something, to inform, to sell you something, to get you to take action? A useful way to evaluate a source for bias is to look at the organization or website publishing it. Often, the title of the website or its About page will tell you a lot about their biases. For example, it may not surprise you to know that the National Right to Life News is against abortion. But you may not realize without the About page that the New Republic has a progressive left-wing bias. You know when you use a source like that it's likely using evidence in a particular way to sway its readers. Bias doesn't necessarily make the source bad, but you need to determine whether that bias affects the accuracy of the information. Finally, it's useful to look at where an author is getting his or her information from. Their use of solid evidence is just as important as yours and shows that the author is doing more than just presenting their opinion. With some articles, you'll see the sources the author used at the end of their article. More often, you'll have to investigate that yourself in the body of the article. For example, I can see here that this author got his information from a research study on local agriculture and an interview with the author of that study. Your research assignment is only as good as the quality of your sources. Brick by brick, you make your case in your research based on the sources you've gathered. You bring these experts into a conversation in your assignment. By evaluating and selecting the best sources for your needs, you'll ensure that your research has a solid foundation. If you need support, ask a librarian. We're here to help.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now.
I think I missed expertise. Would you be able to go back? Or is there a video? The link?
The link is on the website if you want to go back. What we're gonna do now is I'm gonna put you into breakout rooms.
All right.
And with your group, you're going to be able to go back to that first section and answer any questions that you didn't get. And then after you do that first section with the first 4 questions, there are some group discussion questions at the bottom there that you should be talking about with your group and then filling out the answers. All right, so to close out, making sure that you know so the homework assignment for this class is to do benchmark 6, which is to fill out the Google form that is on Google Classroom for this class. And it's an additional 3 sources, okay? You should be finding 3 additional sources so that you have a total of 6 credible sources for your research paper. And the only thing that's different about this benchmark from the one that we did on Tuesday and Wednesday is that there is a section where you explain why you are using that source, or how you're going to use it, or you have to explain how it helps you, what is the information from that source and how are you going to use it in your research paper. So it doesn't need to be super detailed, but like maybe a couple sentences explaining how you're going to be using that source in your research paper. And since there is a little bit more to do, and I want to give you all enough time to do it, the 6th benchmark assignment won't be due until Sunday night at midnight. So you have today, tomorrow, and Sunday to get that benchmark assignment done. So make sure that you're doing that and that you have 6 sources by Sunday night. And that's it. So the exit ticket for class today is just to submit the evaluating sources note catcher on Google Classroom. So make sure that you have it all filled out. And I'm going to put you back into your breakout rooms in case you need to talk to one another to finish it. But as soon as you're done with with the note catcher and you submitted it, you can leave the meeting. Are there any questions?
No.
No.
All clear. Okay. I'm gonna put you back in your breakout rooms, and then as soon as you're finished with the worksheet, you can leave. And I'll see you all on Tuesday.